All right. Good evening. Today is March 4th, and this is our town hall for Shred Wars, episode 7, The Flow Awakens at Dyer Park. Like that's a mouthful, right? So Star Wars is our theme for this season or for this particular race at Dyer Park. So let's let the return of the Force and the fun be with us um, during Dyer Park. Dyer Park, for you all that um, are new to Dyer Park or haven't been to Dyer Park before, it is actually a reclaimed landfill. So I think that that's super cool. Like us, Florida, like using our resources wisely and repurposing the land and being able to use it and turn it into this amazing park. And there's like soccer fields there. There's lots of different fields. I'm not sure what they all are. Maybe there's baseball too. I'm not sure, but lots of different sports fields that are there. And then we are up on the hill. It's called the hill. We have the hill trail and we have the perimeter trail. The perimeter trail obviously goes around the perimeter of it. And the hill is up on the hill, which is where we set up. So I do advise you to use the link on our event flyer. Use that link that says map when you go to open that up into your Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever maps that you use to get there. Because if you just type in like Dyer Park, it's going to say you are here and you're just going to be at this park and you're going to maybe be wandering around a little bit, trying to figure out exactly where we are. So use that link. That'll take you directly to the hill. The other thing I wanted to mention is when you arrive, does not seem intuitive because you'll see the FICO flag at the bottom of the hill, and you still may think, where do I go from here? You're going to go up the hill. So you're like, well, but am I going to drive on a greenway? Yep, you're going to drive on a greenway. So we do have parking volunteers. This is also a very, very, very important race that we have our parking volunteer positions filled. So if you have never been a welcome volunteer before, highly advise you. Super cool. You get to say hello to everybody that arrives. And so we'll have people at the bottom of the hill that will be directing you with walkie-talkies up the hill because we can't have a lot of conflicts. We can't have any conflicts actually going on because there will be people, there will be bikes, there may be even cars coming down. So when you guys are arriving, less likely that any cars are coming down, but we do our volunteers at the very foot and at the top, we'll have walkie-talkies where they will be talking to each other and sending cars up. Um, so just want to let you know that because I know, even when I arrive sometimes in the past, I'm like, where do I go from now? So that's some information. Use that link in our race flyer, also on the website. Um, some highlights. What we have. My thing's not advancing. There we go. So we'll be talking to you about adventure, teen trail core, grit. We have racing. We are going to also be doing a OTB 101 class for our coaches on Saturday. So if you're a coach and you still need that, get registered sooner rather than later. And we'll be doing some donations back to the local animal shelter at Dyer Park. So go over a little bit briefly. Adventure, check out the Adventure app. New things are added all the time. As you noticed the last event, we started to acknowledge the different levels that people are meeting, that bronze, silver, and gold for finishing the adventure missions. If you haven't got in on that fun, you'll want to do so with that. We'll be having the Rad Relay Race again about 12:30. We found that that was a good time last time. The coaches are doing their coach meetings and such, and it's a little bit of a downtime for the kids. So it was great for the riders to be able to get over there and play some bikes. We got Connect 4 bike style, thanks to Jose. Teen Trail Core, We are still working on if there'll be an opportunity to do some trail maintenance or not. So stay tuned on that. Our grit will be hosted by the Winter Park Composite team and the Gainesville Composite team. They are coming together to host the Grit tent this weekend or next weekend. Remember, Grit is hosted by the girls, but it's open to everybody. So come on over. They're decorating bike equipment. I believe helmets, potentially some shoes. So get over there and check that out. Again, open to everybody. The Grit Ride's at 1:30. If you are participating in that, be ready and start heading over there about that 1:15 so that we can keep that timely with getting all the girls staged up. Um, Racing, I'm not going to go into that deep. That'll be Joe. He'll dive into that deeper with you guys. But a hill in Florida, like woo, we get some elevation. So excited for that. Some of our venue asks. So at this particular venue, it is a landfill. So they're asking us to secure our tents by sandbags, by water jugs, weights, like any other thing that you can find, is what is needed, rather than putting those stakes in there. This is a leave no traces as all of our events are. So whatever you bring in, you need to bring out. There aren't trash cans on the top of the hill. So take that with you. Water, top of the hill, not a lot of shade up there. Um, right now, temperatures are looking to be like 80 degrees. So it should be beautiful. There's usually a nice little breeze up there. But there's not shade. So sunscreen, 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 and water, water, water. There is no water up on the hill. So bring some water with you. Maybe even, suggest each rider, each family bring a gallon of water or something like that. So bring your water. No drones at this event. And yes, for dogs. And dogs as normal, 6 feet leash, 10 feet away from the race course, and pick up after your dogs. With that said, it is our favorite or my favorite crew member. It's Finn's birthday. So if you know Finn, the polka dotted dog that's hanging out at Marshall tent all the time, it's his little birthday. And so to honor his birthday, we are taking donations, or the local team is going to be taking donations over to the animal shelter. So if you want to bring some food or blankets or treats or toys to donate to the local animal shelter, you can do that, and you can drop them off at the Marshall tent and give Finn a little pet. No open flames. This is a landfill. It's highly flammable. No open flames. We don't allow them normally at our events anyways, but definitely please don't try to sneak any open flames. It could be very dangerous for everyone. As always, no smoking, alcohol. We don't have those at our events. And to show respect for our event, all of our venues, so that we continue to get invited back. Parking. So I already talked a little bit about parking, with finding that, looking for the FICO flag, going up the hill, and listening to the volunteers as you go up, kind of creep your way on up that. I wanted to talk a little bit about our pit zone passes. I had some really good questions at our last event. So what does a pit zone pass allow me to do? So we know that each team gets 3 passes, but what does my pit zone allow me to do? So a pit zone pass, it allows you to pull into our pit zone drop-off area. The drop-off area is not within the pit zone, but rather there's a big sign and it says pit zone drop-off. And you're able to pull up to that area, unload everything from your car or your truck, and leave it there. Go park your car back into general parking. And then you can come back, and if you've got great teammates and we've trained them well, by the time you get back, none of that stuff is still sitting there anymore. They've all hauled it to your tent area, and you can just get over there and help pop tents and such like that. Our pit zone passes do not allow us to drive in pit zone. So driving in pit zone is a team penalty, and it begins at 15 points. So and nobody wants to do that, and I don't want to do that. So let's just pull up to that sign, unload, and get about our way. Head coach parking. Quick little thought on that. I got some feedback that we had way more than 21 cars in our head coach parking. And so head coach parking, twofolds. One, we want to honor our amazing coaches for all the hard work and everything that they do. But also, we want our head coaches to be gathered in one area because if we have an emergency that happens, if we have a shelter in place because there's lightning, something like that, then we are able to talk and discuss with all the head coaches in one area and then allow them to disseminate the information out. So please, if you are not a head coach, do not park in head coach. Like honor your head coaches and let them be there, and let their space be allowed there. And I'm going to roll it over to our amazing race director, Joe, to go over some weekend things.
Okay, thank you. So Friday we will be getting there early and we will be beginning our setup of the infield and the course. Volunteers are always welcome and needed on Friday for setup of that infield, the course, the parking, all that tape that gets put out. So much of it's put out on Friday. So any of the home teams or folks that live close, or folks that come into town early, please know that you're welcome to come put in some volunteer time with us there. On Saturday, our volunteer shifts will begin at 9 a.m. And please, please, please go online and sign up for those spots. I think we're maybe 20% of those are filled right now. And the longer it takes on Saturday to get the course set up and finalized, the deeper that could go into pre-ride, and we'd be missing some pre-ride. And that being said, too, is we need to have our volunteers in place, our crossing guards, and some of our strategic location volunteers in place for us to even start pre-ride. So please make sure any and all of your teams and coaches and family that can volunteer, they go online and we get ahead of it if we can. Registration is 11 o'clock. Head coaches and team directors, please pick up the stuff for your team. At 11 o'clock, the team pit zone opens, and that's when, as Jackie described, everybody can pull up, drop off your stuff at pit zone, go park, and then go take it over into your designated area in the pit zone. 11:30, everything will be open. All of our grit, adventure, and TTC festivities will be happening. At 12:05 is our coaches meeting, as always on Saturdays. Only one coach per team, please. If you're trying to onboard a new coach, we at Navigators brought in our new coach last week so she could see it and see what to expect. And if you need to do that, please do that. But I do need to say this. The issues we had last week with some of the kids on the course and some of the coaches not understanding some things were some of the teams that didn't have a coach at the coaches meeting. So please show up to the coaches meeting. Coaches pre-ride is at 12:30. The pre-ride at the last course where people had questions, everybody that had questions and had issues did not pre-ride. So coaches that do pre-ride and teams that do pre-ride, if you have riders that have not or coaches that have not, please brief them up and let everybody know what's going on with the course. And if there's things they should know, like were discussed when we stopped at the high school, middle school split at the last race, everything was discussed there, but a lot of people seemed like it was the first time it was brought to their attention during the race. So please, coaches, go out to the pre-ride and pay attention. At 12:30, some adventure Rad Relay races are going to happen. At 1:30, our grit pre-ride will happen. 2 o'clock, our fifth and sixth graders will be out there. And coaches, please get them out there and introduce them to the course. The fifth and sixth graders, especially the girls, will need to know where that split is. The boys, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth graders, their course will be set. They won't have to worry about the split, but our girls will have the split between the high school and fifth and sixth and middle school course. At 2:30, the course is open for pre-ride. And let's see, pre-ride, remember, is not a hot lap. Make sure we have our coaches out there with our riders, and our riders are visible to the coaches, and we're within our ratios. Our last call for pre-ride is 4 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock, we will be starting our OTB 101 for any coaches that need 101 to secure their level 2 or level 3 license. So coaches, please, if you don't know about it, and if you haven't shared it amongst everybody on your team, please share that so they can get registered and take care of that. A fast lap under coach and student athlete ratios will happen at 4:30 if any students do choose to go out there and test the limits of themselves and the course and their equipment. You are welcome to do that at 4:30 p.m. 4:30 is also closure of registration. 5 o'clock, our pit zone drop off is done for the day. And at 5 p.m., pre-ride is closed, and no riders are allowed on the course once that course is closed. That is a penalty. It's an orange level penalty. On Sunday, our race day, please remember our staging. We are staging 10 minutes before our starts. Always, coaches, if you can, make sure your riders know when their start is, so we don't have any kids miss their start. We do not want to see that. But at 7 a.m., our volunteer shifts will begin. At 7:30, the parking and pit zone drop-offs open. And at 7:30, pre-ride opens, but only if our volunteers are in place and we have volunteers for the strategic positions that we need volunteers for. As always, we cannot race, we cannot ride unless we have those spots filled. So coaches, please have your families go online and register, please, to help us out. 8:30 is the closure for pre-ride, and pit zone drop-off will also close at that time. The coaches meeting, again, mandatory for one coach per team. Again, mandatory for one coach from every team, is at 8:30. At 9:20, our staging begins for all the middle school and our fifth grade boys, and they will start racing at 9:30. The girls' wave will start their staging at 10:30 and start racing at 10:40, and the boys at 12:20 and race at 12:30. At 2:15, we will be done, and only once everybody's done, please keep the tents, keep everything up and ready and rocking and rolling, and let's cheer our last rider in. And then please, coaches, teams that are around, if you can designate riders to pitch in and help with the teardown of all the tape and the finishing shoots and the start shoots and all the good things, we can hustle into awards. The more help we get, the better it is, and the more participation from all the teams, the more fun we're going to have in that teardown. Okay, so our middle school wave. The middle school A boys are going to be doing 3 laps of the middle school loop. And if I can talk about that loop for both middle school and high school, the loop does come right up to the pit zone area where the visibility and the very spectator-friendly course. But please, if you are in an area where the kids come up the hill and then down the hill, and they'll go east a little bit and then they'll come back up the hill and down the hill, they'll go east a little bit and back up. Please do not go from point to point to point running and chasing these kids, especially when you do that by running up to an e-bike and getting on that paved walking path and racing to the next point on your e-bike to ditch it and run down. Those were a few of the comments and complaints that I saw last year, and it was a little dangerous and difficult for the local dog walkers that were there. So please just be aware of that and think twice. And it is a very easy course to accidentally step onto and obstruct riders that are coming up from behind as you're cheering your rider coming up the hill in front of you. So please be aware of that. So we will be middle school A boys, middle school B boys, our sixth grade boys, and chasing them will be the fifth grade boys doing 1 lap. Middle school B and sixth grade boys will be doing 2 laps. When we get into our girls wave, the varsity girls will be doing 4 laps of their course. JV1 will be doing 4 laps of their course. Then we will be starting the middle school A girls doing 3 laps of the middle school course. And then we jump back into high school with JV2, JV3 girls, followed by middle school B, then sixth, then fifth grade. Middle school will be doing the same laps, girls as boys. So B girls and sixth girls will be doing the 2 laps, and the fifth grade girls will be doing 1 lap. And I believe there's 100 feet of vertical per lap, so it's not an easy lap. 12:30, the boys will start, the big boys racing varsity, followed by JV1, JV2, then JV3 boys, and expect some very fast laps there. So spectators, please have your head on a swivel, especially if you are going down towards the race course. Okay, the fundamental skills. This course is very fast, but it is very technical. The climbs have some nice little hard left-hand turns, and 2 of them have some right-hand turns at the top. But they are fast-paced descents that go into some tight sweeping right-hand corners, followed by a little technical rocky climb with some left-hand turns that have larger rocks and some roots. So work on some of those skills, work on your mass start skills, and especially work on your pass with class. This is a tough course to pass. If you have any athletes that are in a group, and one of the comments I had from a boys race and one of the girls races was a leaders catching the back end of another race and just riding behind. Just have those riders that are out there just putting their time in. If they can, just step aside really quick and make the day for the boys and girls that are coming up behind them and racing. Practice your handoffs on the water bottles. This will be a right-handed feed, and it is in a grassy area. It's not too fast of an area because the grass is pretty thick in that spot. But please practice your handoffs, and with multiple coaches. Practice them with the open bottles that the kids are going to pour on their heads and the bottles they're going to drink from. Like I said, there's 100 feet of climbing on this course per lap. Not real bad, but they are all sharp, little twisty, tough climbs. We spoke about our cornering. Work on that. Work on your braking. Some of the rocks are loose, so work on your controlled braking and controlled speed. Let's see. Our fifth and middle school loop is right around 3 miles, and the high school loop is about a mile longer. And if everybody remembers where the cutoff was and the turnout of the trail that goes along the perimeter last year, the high school group will continue along the fence line and the tight single track for nearly half a mile. And then they'll come out and they'll get on the perimeter loop a half mile east of where the middle schoolers do.
And 39.
Keep in mind we could change some laps if the course is riding really fast. As last year we added laps because the course was going so fast. Allowing your riders time to warm up, visualize the course. If they pre-ride the course, they'll be able to visualize it, and that's what you want to talk about with them is seeing those corners before they get there, understanding how they're going to ride it, and picking out some good race lines beforehand. Don't spend too much energy warming up, but there is plenty of area in that park to warm up if your kids don't have rollers with them. There is a if you look on the map on the flyer, which there's a link to the flyer in this, you'll see the one of the really good warm up areas. Reminder: there's no caffeine for our racers. It's banned during the NICA events from the time we set up until the time the trailer is closed and off property, not at the end of the race. So please do not celebrate with some Coca-Colas out there. We spoke about the venue, great spectating, but please do not go down there and just continue crossing over the trail without looking every different direction. And if you are crossing over the trail, please do not disturb the trail or change anything on the trail as you're walking through or past it. Leave it as it is, please. The feed zone, that's the only place we're going to do feeds. If we ever have an event where it is so hot and it is so miserable for the kids that they want extra bottles poured on top of them, we will set up multiple feed zones where they can receive a bottle that they can then pour on themselves. Please remember, we're not there to pour the bottles on the kids. We can give the bottle to our student athlete and they can pour it or drink it, but we cannot run next to them or just throw water on them. Parents, coaches, student athletes are expected to display an excellent sporting attitude during all of our league events. Treat others well, the spectators, the locals. We've got a lot of CrossFitters that were out there doing sprints up the hill, which is our driveway to the pit zone from the soccer fields. You will be passing them all day long. Actually, last year there was a Miami Dolphins football player doing some workouts there up that hill. So please be respectful and kind of them. They don't expect us to be there, but they always do welcome us. And remember, profanity in any situation for our kids is not acceptable. Okay, so our staging, again, we're repeating this because there were questions last time. Our 3 normal staging waves. Wave 1 is middle school boys. Wave 2 is all of our girls, high school, middle school. And wave 3 is our high school boys. 1 coach only per team at the staging area with your athletes. Okay. Parents, siblings, teammates, spectators, everybody else can be outside of that tape. And there's a good spot towards the start line where they can be, or just beyond the start where the racers will come right towards them, and you can get some great shots and a great view of the course from just 100 feet west of the start line. The staging area will be designated as always with tape and with signage, and we will be down there with a bullhorn calling all of your kids. If any of your student athletes miss their start and their call up, they are not allowed to get pulled or waved up all the way to the front line just because they're there before the start. If they miss their call up, they're still relegated to the back of their group. Okay, and next one, our equipment. Please check our kids and student athletes and coaches. Check all your bikes at your next practice, or your practice before, rather, that weekend comes up. Check the bar end plugs, Make sure that their shifters and derailleurs and batteries are charged. Talk to them about that. Clean bike is a fast bike. If you weren't at the grit tent last week when they were cleaning bikes, they were going to teach you how to clean it and make it faster. Uh, for the pre-ride and race day, make sure your numbers are on the bikes. And for race day, make sure your numbers are on the bikes and your bib number is on the back of the jersey. There's a great video on that if you haven't seen it. Helmets. Coaches, please, at one of your practices coming up next, check the helmets, make sure there's no cracks and the straps are good and there's not big loose sections. I had to tighten a few helmets at the line last week that had just a big old hanging strap down near their chest. So please check those at your practices. Riding and support on the course is forbidden. Please, for safety's sake, do not run next to the riders. Do not race your bike next to the rider on the path, on the walking path that we discussed earlier. Just spectate from a great spot. You can move to the next, but please do not try to parallel your rider and encourage them on. That's just unsafe for all of our other spectators and folks out there and some of the animals walking around. Our feed zone head coaches, team directors can get our feed zone passes from Papa G. Please make sure none of our student athletes are in there acting as feed zone folks feeding our student athletes that are racing. You do need to have your badge, and the number of badges is based on the number of kids you have racing that day and in that wave. And just make sure you stick to that. If you need two coaches for a bottle to drink and a bottle to pour, spread them out, split them up, and make sure your student athlete knows who has the drinking bottle and who has the pour on top of the head bottle. Make sure they practice their handoffs. Make sure that everybody's aware of who has which bottle. And it is very much advised to wear something that's distinguishable to your team riders that you are with their team and make it easy for them to pick you out, please. At the end of the day, please make sure you return those feed zone passes to Papa G at registration. Scoring and awards. As last week, we've got a bunch of cool stuff going on. We've got the Trek fundraiser, the top student athletes, and I think we're going to even see a slide next that has some amazing numbers these kids are putting up. Our volunteer raffle, every volunteer is going to get a chance to win some cool things. And Farah, I think you won a few $100s worth of tires last week, which is awesome. Jealous. That was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Thank you.
Yes, that was a good. You got a lucky number. That was awesome. But our volunteer raffle is killer. Come out, please volunteer and win some amazing stuff. Our TTC Trail Steward Awards will be posted and they will be recognized for all the work that they're doing for the trails in their area and statewide. We have our adventure champions. I'm not sure how Ralph is scoring those, Jackie, or how you're scoring them, but I know that they're keeping track of all the kids that are going out there doing some cool stuff and racking up some points that will lead to some pretty neat prizes. I've seen some of the stuff in the trailer, and I need to encourage Kate to get some more time in there and see what she can bring home.
Those adventure points are through the adventure app. So if you don't have the adventure app on your phones yet, then you'll want to go ahead and do that. And when you sign in, you want to put down your team name and then your name because that's kind of how we sort because we'll have top adventure team awards at the end of the whole season. So yeah, get over there and make sure you can get if you don't have it, go to the link in our bios on Instagram. It's been in several, it's probably in every one of our emails that we send out our single track times. You can get there that day and you can scan it at the adventure tent and do it there as well. But there are things that you can do for those adventure points during practice, as well as you can do them during the event.
Yes. And I do want to throw in here for the TTC stuff. If anybody wants to look up the Chris Phillips Foundation, Chris Phillips was a writer out of West Virginia, a very good friend of mine and somebody I coached. That foundation, which is somewhat NICA related because he started the first high school mountain bike team in the state of West Virginia before West Virginia got NICA. And that foundation, which is Florida and West Virginia, is looking to provide some funds, $5,000 this year and up to $50,000 next year. Will be divvied out between teams and trailheads if you're a steward for a certain trail or place that hosts NICA events. Those are going to be available, and you'll be able to apply for those at the chrisphillipsfoundation.org. And I hope some of you guys can get some of that stuff for tools and whatnot. Okay, on to the next is some fun things for this weekend. There's going to be the Rad Relay Race over at the adventure area. The skills area is going to be loaded with all the stuff. And I've seen kids doing a lot of neat things over there. The grit ride and activities hit the grit tent. Winter Park and did you say Tallahassee? Not Tallahassee. Winter Park and Gainesville are hosting this year or this race. So get by and grab some things. Any and all are welcome. And our TTC, we're still working on something for the kids to do. Hopefully, we can find something, and maybe they can pick up some hours here and there. And then the Finn's doggy birthday with all the cool. Come see Finn, pet him, leave a donation for the local animal shelter they have there. Again, we need you. Yeah, 20% of our positions are filled on the site, which Jackie, can you put a link to that in the comments for the registering for volunteer? Anyway, we'll get a link up and posted, but coaches, you know where to send all of your folks to get some of those online advanced spots where they can pick things that they want to do. And if they can sign up by Thursday morning to get credit towards team awards. So thank you all who have already signed up. But again, for those positions and especially those critical spots, we cannot race until the spots are filled. We cannot pre-ride until the spots are filled. So please, coaches, encourage all your friends and family to get on there and put in a little shift and help us out at the end. And as always, if you can encourage your kids to help us break down at the end of the day and show some team spirit, that would be fantastic. Okay, other stuff. Katie Lozier moved up to number 1. Is that current?
No, it's not. It's not Katie Lozier. I
It's
believe
not.
that's Farah's daughter
It,
because
yeah,
it's Treasure Coast.
that's my Katie.
Yeah, your Katie's in first place.
Congratulations, Farah. That's awesome.
Yeah, actually, I just checked it. I hadn't checked it in a while, so I was like, holy crap.
That's cool. So remember, any and all of you first year teams, when you guys go and you chase all these donations and everything towards and for NICA and for all of our student athletes, your first year teams, 100% of your donations that you get for the league come back to you not long after the season ends. So all that comes right back to your kids. 100% of it goes towards making those student athletes great and helping you guys out. And everything for the other teams, 50% of what you guys raise comes back to you guys to help your teams out and support your student athletes. So it is a win-win-win. And you get a chance to win some cool stuff. The bike last year was amazing, by the way. Um, let's see. So our economic survey, please fill that out. If you recall, West Palm Beach is an amazing place, and they took care of us. And the economic survey yielded over $6,000 last year, which really helped the league and helped us when things went bad and we had the storm and we had to shuffle around and do some races and pay for things that were ridiculously expensive so we could do a final race. So please fill out that survey because it does come back to the league and it helps us get a bunch more stuff for the kids and for the league and for all of the teams. Um, and it's real easy. It's really quick. You can do it in 30 seconds after you've done it once, which is maybe 2 minutes. So please fill that out and help out the league, help out West Palm Beach, their county and their city down there. Do greatly appreciate all of your help and all of your participation in that.
And I just wanted if I could jump in, Joe, you guys can still do that. So if you didn't do it already for Santos or for CRP, go ahead and scan your screen right now with your phone, and you can go ahead and you can still do it for past events that we haven't that we just have had.
All right. And from our Jedi Mark, go forth and be rad. We'll see you guys in just over a week. Um, and if I can give Mark a shout out, he did an amazing job with that massive and really, really long course at Santos. Uh, if if you don't know what it's like to set up a 7 mile course with all the tape and stakes and the work that goes into it, it's amazing. It's it is ridiculously hard work. Tons of splinters, tons of calluses, and a really sore back at the end of the day. So when you see Mark, thank him and and know that a lot of time and effort goes into setting up these courses, and they're set up in ways that meet criteria for NICA and for all of our safety standards. So know that he's juggling a whole lot of things when he's setting those up, and and he does an amazing job. So props to Mark Audette.
For sure. Well, Joe and I will stay on for a little bit. If there are any questions, anything like that, a little reminder is that our event flyers that are on the website, they are live documents. And so if you are a print paper person, we recommend that you not print in those until the Wednesday before the race because things are subject to change as the weather. We find out trails are a little different, trail conditions are different, things like that. Therefore, laps might change, all of that. So don't print until the Wednesday before. And head coaches, if you like to send that out like in a newsletter or something like that to your team, I would recommend that you use that link instead because when we make a change on that link, then that information is on, that link is live. So it immediately, as soon as we hit save on that link it has the same information in all the different places. So if you want to use that link, I would highly recommend that to make sure that your information that you're sharing with your families are correct. And head coaches, team directors, we will be back here next Wednesday for our office hours with Joe and I. But until then, have a great, great weekend.